Hello everyone, and welcome to my CSU channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Savannah Chrisley disses Kyle and critics in appeal update. Chrisley knows best. Alum Savannah Chrisley might, in a few candid words, have explained why she won't allow her half-brother, Kyle Chrisley, to meet with Chloe, 11. Additionally, the reality TV star got snarky with critics of her mom and dad, Todd and Julie Chrisley, after their oral appeal. Savannah Chrisley talked about Kyle, Chloe, and critics. Chloe is the biological daughter of Kyle Chrisley and Angela Johnson. At one stage, she wanted to get custody of her daughter, but as Todd and Julie Chrisley adopted Chloe, she couldn't do anything about not co-parenting. These days, with Todd and Julie in prison for fraud and tax-related crimes, Savannah is Chloe's legal guardian. Savannah Chrisley took to her vlog to talk about an update on her mom, Julie, after the Court of Appeal heard oral arguments. Julie's case was remanded back to the district court because of a lack of evidence of fraud relating to certain years. So, she will be resentenced, and her family hopes that she can go home soon. Critics dissed by Todd's daughter. In her recent update on her Unlocked podcast, Todd Chrisley's daughter spoke a lot about Chloe. It related to how she didn't know what she should tell her little sister about her mom and dad. However, she admitted that the child's innocence was blown years ago, and she specifically called Kyle and Angela Johnson pieces of garbage when it came to parenting. That came at the 350 mark in the video below. Next, as an OP on Reddit pointed out, Savannah Chrisley got snarky with critics of her mom and dad. The Chrisley knows best critic wrote. The part where the OP talked about people calling them out for doing illegal things came when Savannah Chrisley talked about how the system has absolutely they just don't care about families. Then, she spoke about people who talked about how parents shouldn't go to prison in the first place. Irritated, she held up her hands, nodded, and said, "Well, Karens, just back off." Chrisley knows best. Critics react on Reddit. Reddit isn't as friendly a place as Instagram because it's not so easy for people to moderate what is shown. So, many people agreed that Kyle's half-sister shouldn't have called everyone Karens. Here are some reactions. What are your thoughts on Savannah Chrisley calling Kyle and Chloe's biological mom pieces of garbage? What about dissing critics who feel people shouldn't complain if they commit a crime? The Georgia morning was still heavy with mist when Savannah Chrisley stepped out of the black SUV and into the brisk November air. Cameras snapped instantly, the chaotic chorus echoing off the courthouse walls. She didn't flinch. After months of being stalked by every news outlet, she had learned how to wear composure like armor. Today was the long-awaited appeal hearing, another step in her ongoing war to free her parents. But the tension wasn't just in the courtroom. The drama had seeped deeply into her family, especially after the messy back and forth with her brother Kyle. And as Savannah squared her shoulders, she knew one thing. She was done letting anyone, family or stranger, dictate her story. Inside the courthouse, Savannah took her seat behind her attorneys, her hands clasped around the legal pad she used more as a grounding tool than anything else. She scanned the room, reporters, bloggers, internet critics, court watchers who acted like they knew her life better than she did. And then, Kyle walked in. He looked hesitant, almost unsure if he belonged there. His recent interviews had painted Savannah as dramatic, controlling, unable to let go of the spotlight. Savannah's jaw tightened. She loved her brother, but grief and pressure had turned every Chrisley into their own storm. Kyle took a seat on the opposite side of the gallery, sending her a stiff nod. She gave an even stiffer one back. Her lawyer whispered, "You okay?" Savannah's smile was thin. "I'm always okay," she said, although her heart was doing furious gymnastics. The judge entered, and the room fell silent. As the arguments began, Savannah listened but also fought the internal monologue that always tried to spiral. She thought of her dad's voice on the phone, steady but tired. Her mom's gentle encouragement. Chloe's hopeful text that morning. Grayson's quick "love you" save before school. She couldn't let herself fall apart. When the court broke for a short recess, the reporters surged forward like sharks scenting blood. One of them called out, "Savannah, Any comment about Kyle saying you're misrepresenting the situation? Another shouted, Savannah, some critics say you're doing this for attention. Her team tried to guide her out, but Savannah stopped, turning slowly back toward the swarm. Cameras lifted instantly. Even Kyle froze. She walked up to the microphones. You want to comment? She said, her voice calm, controlled, but steely enough to slice marble. I'll give you one. Her attorney looked horrified. But Savannah continued. First of all, to the critics, people who sit behind screens and think they know what I'm going through, what my family is going through. Let me make something clear. I don't owe you anything. She paused, letting the silence settle. You don't raise my siblings. You don't speak to my parents every night. You don't pay the lawyers, you don't wipe the tears, and you don't carry the weight. I do. Cameras flashed wildly. And as for my brother, she glanced directly at Kyle, who looked like he wanted to teleport out of the room. Families argue. Families say things out of pain, out of fear, out of confusion. Kyle has every right to his feelings. But he doesn't have the right to rewrite the truth. Kyle swallowed, eyes locking with hers. I'm here, Savannah said firmly, because I believe in justice. Because I believe my parents were wrongfully sentenced. And because sitting down and letting the world tear my family apart is not something I will ever do. She stepped back, leaving the reporters stunned, and for the first time in weeks, proud of herself. During the afternoon session, the courtroom felt different. More focused. More electric. Savannah noticed Kyle watching her, his expression softening each time her attorneys scored a point. When the hearing concluded, the judge announced that a written decision would be issued at a later date. It wasn't a victory, not yet, but Savannah felt hope rising in her chest like sunlight cracking through storm clouds. As she exited the building, she mentally prepared for another barrage of reporters. But before she reached the steps, someone called her name. Not a journalist, not a critic, but Kyle. Savannah, he said, jogging to catch up. Can we talk? She crossed her arms. About what you said on that podcast. Or the Instagram Live. Or the interview where you basically said, I was using this for fame. He winced. I messed up. I was angry. And jealous. You're the one holding everything together, save. You're the one mom and dad trust. His voice cracked. I feel like I failed them. And I took it out on you. Her eyes softened, but the wall she'd built remained. You hurt me, Kyle. You hurt the kids, too. Chloe thought you hated us. He looked devastated. I would never. I just didn't know how to handle everything.